talking about a sugar booger flavor, woo. Ew. I know.
Hi guys, Life of Candy here again. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. But I'm here to address the narcissistic parents. I'm gonna leave out the narcissistic parents, it have to in it too. As my channel is to bring the awareness of narcissistic abuse, and over here is just things that I have learned and I have been through. Over this platform is platform of truth. Anything I bring on my platform is what I have been through. And so the narcissistic parents, oftentimes people might wonder how they fall in trap with being in situationship with narcissistic people, spouse, people, etc. And this all begin with your narcissistic parents. This was a toxic cycle that began from your childhood. And so that is why a lot of time people find themselves in situation and find themselves entrapped by narcissistic spouse, narcissistic family member, narcissistic people, toxic people overall generally. This cycle began with your parents, your narcissistic parents. And so oftentimes you find yourself and wondering, why have I to been through situationship with my narcissistic uncle, auntie, sister, spouse, girlfriend, boyfriend, etc. This is because this all begin from your childhood. This is a childhood cycle that carry over, that keep on following you to adulthood. But the difference is you have the power to break that cycle. Meaning is most time you find yourself entrapped and you find yourself in toxic situationship with toxic partner and people, because it is a cycle that begin from your childhood. Your parents was narcissistic, are still narcissistic, and so you grow with that mentality. How a person continually treating you or belittling you, manipulating you and treating you badly, you continue growing, receiving and accepting that because it was all part of your childhood. That was what you have learned, handed over to you from your parents from childhood over to adulthood. And so that is why I often tell people on my platform that the power is within you and not the narcissistic person or toxic person. So you wondering, why am I vulnerable to receive toxicity or being toxic, abusive situationship with an ex-partner or ex whosoever may be toxic towards you? This begin with your family. The narcissist, this begin with your parents. It is a generational cycle that is thrown over, that you receive from your toxic parents, because a lot of parents is toxic. And yes, this was all a part of your childhood. And so because your parents are your guardians, your narcissistic parents never give you assurance or never show you with love or never show you what to accept. Most of the time your own family member, parents love bomb you, pretend as if they have your best interests at heart. And all they are doing is basically playing on your emotion, manipulating you. Oftentimes the narcissistic parents, because they are so toxic, they oftentimes separate their children from each other, their siblings. So if you basically have a sister or a brother or a family member, they oftentimes, the job of the narcissistic parents, the narcissistic mother, is to turn our children against each other. They don't like unity. The narcissistic parents, they don't like unity. They don't like peace. Because remember, these narcissistic parents also have, just like your narcissistic spouse or etc. And so the narcissistic parents, these parents love to separate family, love to separate siblings especially. These narcissistic parents get energy from seeing people tear apart. And I'm a living testimony. These narcissistic parents, they love bomb you from childhood, so you grow with that mentality and that state of mind, feeling that people for love bomb you, people for manipulate you, people for pay on your emotion to feel. When they do that, you feel as if, that is how they basically supposed to treat you. And that is a cycle that continually go on with you to adulthood. And that's why I always tell my tribe, my people, use my platform to bring the awareness of, if you're in toxic situationship or unhealthy situation emotionally, unavailable people, it's best to cut them off. It doesn't really matter if it is an auntie, a mother, a sister, whosoever, because you are going to continue the cycle, just continuing the cycle on and on and on, recycling the cycle. And so this, you being in situationship with narcissistic people, this was basically what your parents handed down to you, that you should accept the minimum, you should be manipulated, you should be accept anything from people. That was what basically they taught you from childhood coming up, and so you continue to carry that cycle in adulthood. And so for me, I decided that that is not it. If you're not adding value to my mental health, my peace of mind, my sanity and my dignity, I don't care if you're uncle, mother, sister, auntie, I'm going to cut you off, period. Because if you are not adding peace and you are of toxicity, and this is the representation of a toxic parents, they make you have this mentality of thinking that you have to seek validation from people. If people walk on you, because I can recall in a situation with my toxic parents, when I was with my abuser, these toxic parents never ever stand up for me one day. They would rather tear me down with my abuser, ex-abuser. And this is how narcissistic parents stay. They are just toxic, just like your past abuser. And so that is why it is important to know self-worth, have self-boundaries, have standard, have principle and morals, self-value. Because if you don't have self-value, principle, standard and morals, you are open, prone to receive, to continually receiving toxicity. And so because I want to break that chain, I have a child and I don't want you to feel as if accepting toxicity or manipulation or being used by people, that is a life. I have to set an example. If I have to save my sanity and my peace of mind to cut you off, I am going to do it for my sanity and my peace of mind. And so a lot of you will find yourself in toxic cycles and situations because it was handed down to you from your parents. You never have a parents who stand up for you. You never have parents who speak out for you. They were always manipulative.